Musk, a self-proclaimed free speech absolutist, has been critical of Twitter's picking and choosing which posts get deleted. His involvement is welcomed by those accusing the platform of censorship, while making its defenders uneasy. With around 200 million users worldwide, the deal could reshape social media.
Twitter has become kind of the de facto town square.
If approved, Musk plans to take the company private.
My strong intuitive sense is that having a public platform that is maximally trusted and broadly inclusive is extremely important to the future of civilization.
Twitter founder and ex-CEO Jack Dorsey seems happy, writing, "Taking it back from Wall Street is the correct first step." The platform has been a political battleground for years, accused of taking partisan action against various subjects and discussions, including medical information and even spiritual thoughts. Pastor Dave Scarlett saw his ministry's account banned after this Good Friday tweet showing Jesus was retweeted by rapper MC Hammer to his massive following.
It went absolutely viral. And then literally within an hour, they took us down without any reason, any warning, any strikes. We've never been in a timeout or anything like that. And we were just done.
Just last week, a new report highlighted more than 600 instances where people who criticized President Biden on Twitter or Facebook had comments deleted or accounts banned. And critics say Twitter goes after Republicans far more than Democrats.
Twitter and Facebook censor Republican members of Congress at a rate of 53-1 compared to Democrats. Twitter suspends conservatives 21 times more often than liberals.
While Musk could reopen the door to President Trump's banned Twitter account, the former commander-in-chief says he won't return. Under his leadership, Musk is promising transparency, a public algorithm, and to restore banned accounts.
We don't know why some people are being shadow banned, which is kind of the new term that's been coined lately. And so what Elon wants to do in pursuit of this idea of just kind of this universal good of free speech is to say, we're going to make these things open. We're going to have Twitter be open sourced.
While conservatives have been happy with Musk's takeover, many in the establishment media have been highly critical and question Musk's ability to run the company.
It is not at all clear here, Stephanie, that his incredible popularity on Twitter, right? He has over 80 million followers, in any way qualifies him or prepares him to run the party.
Many conservatives blasted Twitter in 2020 for silencing certain political views, including the New York Post's report on Hunter Biden's laptop before the president's election. Skeptics on the left are now threatening to jump ship as Musk prepares to take the helm.
He's routinely over the years tried to shut down his critics, silence them. He's used Twitter to savage them.
But after Twitter approved his offer, Musk himself tweeted, "I hope that even my worst critics remain on Twitter, because that is what free speech means." It's expected to take time for changes to begin at Twitter. Musk's purchase still needs to be finalized, which could take several months. In Washington, I'm Tara Mergener, CBN News.
I think it's worth pointing out the reaction to this takeover and the contrast in the reaction to Jeff Bezos, another libertarian, taking over the Washington Post. With that takeover, I think the Democrats thought that they were safe, that Bezos wasn't going to change the editorial policy of the Washington Post to somehow be in favor of Republicans. With Twitter, you have the exact opposite, the condemnation of billionaires taking over media companies, taking them private, doing these things. Somehow it's anti-free speech, and you're hearing a lot from the left saying they're going to leave Twitter. Now, when you look at the past election, I think it was quite clear both Facebook and Twitter were on the Democrat side, and they seem to have an editorial policy for that and seem to want to ban conservative voices. Wouldn't it be wonderful if we could trust platforms and we could trust big tech to say, no, hands off on the politics. We're going to allow free speech, and we're not going to try to censor voices in any political election. that would be wonderful. We don't have that right now. And we're seeing conservative viewpoints, divergent viewpoints routinely throttled. And why is that allowed to happen? Now, the reason it's allowed is that they're not under the Bill of Rights. The Bill of Rights only covers the government. So is this something for Congress to take a role in? And how do we ensure free speech over these marketplaces? Because they have become the de facto town square. And in that town square concept, you do have the Bill of Rights because now that's public. Now, will Congress actually say Facebook is a public platform, Twitter is a public platform, and will they extend constitutional guarantees? That remains to be seen. Do we have the political will to do it? And can we actually get the two parties to agree that we should have open platforms? So I, for one, applaud this. I applaud the sentiment behind it, that we need to have town squares where freedom of speech is recognized. All voices are able to have an equal access to that platform, because the fundamental of free speech is not censorship. It's in the competition of ideas that the best ideas always emerge. And in that, you're never afraid of divergent viewpoints, divergent opinions. You allow them to freely interact, and you can freely critique them, or you can freely agree with them. That's the basis of the principle that the Founding Fathers had, and we should follow that in everything we do.